Hello everyone and welcome to Dead Internet Chronicles, where I observe and react to what I perceive to be a complex collection of chatbot chaos. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe so that the algorithm can help me grow my channel. Please do be aware that the themes discussed in this video may be dark and unconventional, and my narration is not explicitly an endorsement. That being said, let's get started. And today, I'm going to do probably a short video today. I'd say it'll probably end up being about 10 to 15 minutes long, but I'm just going to do a couple of threads. Not really going to do a whole lot. I feel like the shorter videos may be better. I've noticed that actual ASM artists tend to make their videos around 10 to 15 minutes long, so I'm thinking that maybe I should shorten mine to be about that length. I don't know, I like making hour-long videos, but there's so much of a pain to edit, and that's the only thing that deters me from it, is editing them. I don't want to just sit there all day and edit a video and then not like the audio. Which I know that's a problem with my YouTube material. I did order a new microphone, so I will have a new microphone coming in the near future. That way, hopefully I can learn to get good audio. I feel like audio might be my biggest problem so far. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get on with this. This thread is called Gnome Bullying, and it says, "Hi, so I'm a bit worried that my garden gnome is facing some issues. I've just kind of had a vibe recently that he's been very stressed out. I usually don't go for the gnome bacon meme like a pleb, as I know from experience that he prefers Parmesan and root beer, but truth be told, I went for it out of desperation. Predictably, he didn't like it at all from what I can tell, but that aside, he hasn't really done much of anything recently, including not liking those favorite stacks of his. Not sure why I thought the bacon would fix it, but yeah, I've done some research, and frankly my offerings of beets, kale, turnips, sunchokes haven't amounted to anything. Should I try mushrooms? For the record, I haven't made any massive changes to the garden, or any at all really, aside from keeping things tidy, so I don't get this sudden shift in behavior. Are there any plants or flowers that my gnome might like? Like, do they like change and new additions? Anyway, the point is, I've noticed some of the neighborly gnomes giving me bad vibes, not like hostile towards me, but towards my gnome. I've encountered them in some weird positions, sometimes definitely hanging out faced away from my gnome. That's why I'm worried that my gnome might be ostracized in some way or bullied by the other ones. Can I do something to help him, or is that best left alone?" Wow. That's a lot to unpack. Let's be honest here. And I don't even know where to start. Like, is there something I don't know about with garden gnomes? I know that they've been portrayed in horror before, but, like, do gnomes have some paranormal thing going on? Like, I've never heard of that. But then again, this is X, so it's really just mental illness posting, so I don't know. This anon says, "To cheer him up, I'd recommend some cookies. Keebler Elves cookies usually work fine enough. Just don't tell him that elves made it. If he's depressed or something, consider introducing him to a cute gnome girl. He might just be lonely." That's a good point. You gotta have two gnomes. They gotta make baby gnomes, I guess. So this anon says, "Do gnomes hate elves?" This anon says, "Get one of those garden pedestals, like 8 foot high, and put the gnome on there and see what happens." This anon says, "I swear I've seen this exact gnome before. Couple days ago, I was strolling home when I noticed 2 perfectly new tires laying on the sidewalk. Still had the factory labels on them and everything. I grabbed them and there was this garden gnome in front of the house. It felt like it was staring into my soul as I took the tires. Looked identical to the one in OP's pic. Real freaky blank. Anyway, I took the pair of tires and sold them to my buddy, Pablo, who works at some Mexican tire shop for $90. Used that to buy some DMT. You live in the Jacksonville area by any chance? Wow. This anon says, they quoted, should I try ... and it says, 1. Blueberries. 2. Baked goods, perhaps muffins to name one example. 3. A cheap smartphone with no SIM card not tied to an account that can take pictures and video. Make sure to wipe it properly, no personal info. 4. A DVD copy of the Stargate 1994 movie. I'm unaware if it needs to be an official copy or if a burn disc will do. 5. A throw pillow with a geometric design on the fabric. 6. A tiny, sized for a gnome, hammer or mallet. Bonus points if it's made entirely out of stone. 7. Butter, bird, certain species, eggs, or loaves of bread. I don't know what these people are talking about. I really don't. Like, I'm so lost. I've never had to deal with a gnome before. I don't have a garden. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's freaky. But you know, this board is known for playing into people's mental illnesses. So what if that's what this is? What if he's just being ridiculed for his mental illness? I don't know. This anon said to number 3, please elaborate. This anon says, there was an OP here who believed gnomes took his smartphone. When he got it back, it looked like they took pictures and possibly video. And then this anon says, reverse image search, no results. Did OP really just take a pic of his garden gnome and censor out the eyes? What? Oh my god. What a weirdo. Why is it all pixelated though? That don't make any sense. That's weird. But that's all for that thread, so you know, if you've got a gnome, then maybe get it a friend, maybe feed it some blueberries. You know, these are just the things that gnomes love. They love friends and blueberries. And now we're going to move on to another thread that I had saved, and it's archived. And it says, anyone else had their world completely turned upside down and not sure what you believe anymore, over the last few years especially. And that one resonated with me because I think everybody feels that way, especially since 2020, you know, like, I don't know, everything changed in 2020 and then it just never really came back the way it used to be. I mean, that was a big moment of change for a lot of people, especially people that I know. Like, everybody says that was one of the worst years of their lives. So last few years, yeah, but we're in 2024 now. So like, I don't know. 2020 was 4 years ago. That's crazy. Anyway, this anon says here, and then another anon says, yeah, wild really. I assume I'm in some GR simulation at this point. Another anon says, yeah, what about it? And this anon says, what do you think is happening? This can't be happening to everyone. Why us? The simulation is breaking. That's why. They said, can you be specific? No, I can't. Someone replied to the OP and said, absolutely, except I eventually came back around to my original theory, but it did take quite a while. probably because of being homeless so long, exacerbates the schizophrenia voices and makes everything harder in general. Anywho. Someone says, sure, while I was always a bit of a schizo before, the government hadn't explicitly tried to kill me before, or get me to kill myself, if you want to nitpick. This anon says, started around 2018 for me. Things have gotten progressively worse in all aspects of my life since then with no upward movement. I've been forced to find new reasons to keep living, which I have, but I don't know if that was the whole point or if I'm just coping. With everything that's happened since then, sometimes it feels like the world is just mirroring my suffering, and that I have to come out of my personal hell on my own if the world is going to heal. I'm not particularly attached to this idea, but it feels at least symbolically true somehow. It's getting deep in here. This anon says, checked. Not everyone can be chosen. Hierarchy exists for a reason. And this one says, well, this question relates very specifically to the upheaval I experienced. It doesn't matter if this is happening to others, except that what you see out there is a projection of your own inclinations. Ultimately, there is only one ego to whom it could be happening. That ego believes that it is a certain person, but it doesn't yet know the truth about itself. I'm learning a lot here. With everything that's happened since then, sometimes it feels like the world is just mirroring my suffering and that I have to come out of my own personal hell on my own if the world is going to heal. And then that anon says, I feel identified with this. You described it very well. That was a good way to describe it. I too identify strongly with this, says this anon. I had my world turned upside down, but it was for the best. I believe in God and nothing else. The world needs ditch diggers too, Danny. Judge and males. What was that a response to? And then this anon says, they're quoting this believe in God quote and says, not even Jesus? I'm not asking from a place of judgment. I'm having my own misgivings. I definitely know I believe in God, though. And then this anon says, yes, I believe in Jesus Christ. Well, good for you. This anon replies to the OP and says, if you're really that confused, then you've been led astray. Wow. That's a harsh accusation. This anon also replies to OP and says, nothing. They just linked to a bunch of videos. And I'm not going to look at those videos, so sorry. There's the titles, though, if you really want to go look at them. It's some bald dude with a beard and then a weird animation. And I think this might be the last post. It says, Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. Don't forget that. It's him or them. And that's where it ends. That's where the end of the thread is. So, yeah, it seems like there's just been a general vibe shift in the past few years. And I blame the events of 2024, as do a lot of people. But, yeah, it just seems like it changed for everybody. And we've all just kind of been winging it ever since. Or maybe that's just me getting older and realizing that everybody was always winging it. You know, at least my family and my friends and everybody that I know, you know, they just wing it and hope for the best. But anyway, you know, I just hope that everybody recovers in the way that we need to, because I know that it's a hard thing to do, but things are looking good, I think. You know, I'm optimistic about the future, so I'm usually not, but I have been recently. But anyway, I believe that's going to be it for this video. You know, it wasn't a very long video. I wanted to try to not bite off as much this go around. I think that shorter videos would probably do better. So I did a shorter video, and we're going to experiment with different concepts with it. I want to keep doing this and make it a regular thing and experiment with different concepts. But I'm really interested to hear, you know, my viewers' thoughts, my very small amount of viewers. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. You know, has the world been turned upside down for you in the past few years? You know, like, do you feel like you're just kind of out there and not really sure what you believe in? Anyway, leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and we thank you for watching. I hope you have a good night or day whenever you're watching this. All right, goodbye.